Hakes. What I'm going to be sharing with you today is I focus a ton on mindset. If you can tell by the wall behind me, for me, mindset is everything. It truly is. And I know what it's like to be an entrepreneur and you want to make big impact. And 2020 has taught us so much. And so, what I want to start out with is how to thrive through uncertainty rather than just survive and like get through. I want to help you thrive. And that all begins up here in your mindset. If you've heard the phrase before, mindset is 80% and mechanics or skill set is only 20% of the scenario. So you can be taught a business structure, the how to, funnels, automation, content. But if you don't back it with 80% belief and confidence, none of that stuff matters. And I've experienced that for myself. I've worked with coaches. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars building websites and having funnels and all the stuff you're quote supposed to be doing. But when I doubted my ability, when I felt like I had imposter syndrome, or who am I to do this, even though I had the desire to make impact to others, I didn't get very far. But when I understood the power of my mindset, when I implemented a morning routine, when I literally built this, just like you do bicep curls, things began to change for me. So, what I want to share with you today, number one, if you believe that your thoughts create your reality, this is going to make sense to you. So, as far as note taking, I would definitely write this down just so you understand. And I want you to understand the cycle of how this begins. So, your thoughts, this is where everything stems from. Your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions lead to your actions or the actions you don't take, such as procrastination. I'll start when I'm ready. I have to wait till I take this course. That's all stems, and ultimately, this will lead to your results. So if you're currently, you don't have the results you want, you don't have the reach you want, you don't have the finances you want, you've got to lead it all back to thoughts. And what I want to talk about here is most importantly, you've got to deactivate the doubt. That's something I love to talk about because we all experience it, right? We all have fear or worry, and a lot of this is subconscious. So know that you may not be conscious or aware of what's going on in your subconscious, these doubts and imposter syndrome and your limiting beliefs. But once you become aware of them, then you can change your thoughts, which will lead to different emotions, a high vibe energy state, which lead to different actions you take. You feel the momentum, you're excited, you're taking action, and ultimately you're going to get different results. So where I want to start with this is, as I said in the beginning, mindset, this is all, it's the 80-20 rule. 20% skill set, 80% mindset. And so what I do is I highly suggest, if you aren't already, to implement a morning routine. And for those watching, I'd love to hear from you. Give me a thumbs up or say yes. Do you currently have some sort of morning routine?
See here. So a couple of them are saying no, some of them say ish. And then, yeah, those are the ones that are coming through.
I appreciate you being honest because those that are saying ish, I get it. But let me ask you this. Are your ish actions resulting in your ish results? So what I want to help you understand is it's important. If you're going to commit to any one thing, commit to a morning routine. You can Google this. There are literally thousands of ways to have a morning routine. There is no one right way. But what I suggest is spending those first, 10, 15, 20, even a half an hour of your morning, first thing in the morning, before you check your phone, before you get on email, before you get on social, and like be intentional with your day. Visualize and feel the feelings of, what would, if you want to be a six-figure earner or you want to be a multimillionaire with this huge impact and thousands of followers, what does that person look like? What are their actions? What are their beliefs? What are they doing? Because in order to bridge the gap from where you are to that successful person you want to be, you're going to have to start doing different things. So back to the morning routine. That's where, I believe in, if you're into meditation and you can do as little as like, literally you can start with 60 seconds, just sitting there silence, and focus on your breath. And the more you understand and the more you get into it, you're going to be like, I want 5 minutes. I want 10 minutes. Those 15 minutes of stillness in the morning were the best part of my day, and you won't miss it. So meditation's key. I'm very much into working out in the morning because working out for me is not only a physical thing, but it's mental. When I'm in there, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm listening to inspiration, or business things. And not only am I hearing it, but I'm doing the physical movements to embody the teachings, not just listen to it passively. And again, I believe anything you schedule actually gets done. So stop just talking about what you're going to do and schedule it. So if you're going to write something down, write that down right now. Implement some sort of morning routine that helps you focus and be intentional with your day, and start scheduling things if you actually want them to get done. Okay, number 2, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say, so we're a heart group. Basically, when people hear things that they resonate with, we're all about dropping those hearts, and they're definitely resonating with what you're talking about. They're loving it.
Drop me some love bombs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me write that down. This is all about your mindset, the mindset rule of 80-20, with the 80% obviously being the most important. Implement the morning routine and get things scheduled. Number 2, this is what I call, you've got to pull the weeds and plant new seeds. And what I mean by that is, what I touched on earlier, we all have limiting beliefs, and a lot of times they're in the subconscious. But what you have to do is step into being an observer of your thoughts. You have somewhere between 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. So you can't monitor all of them clearly. But the good news is you're not that creative, because most of your thoughts are on repeat from yesterday. So once you become aware of these repetitive thoughts, I'm not enough, I'm not capable, I'm never going to get there, I can't make money doing this, or whatever you're saying in your head, I call it to catch and replace. You catch it, and you can even wear a rubber band, or sometimes I literally snap it, or you jump and you go cancel, delete. You want to unwire or unlearn that thought because it's not serving you. And then replace it with, I am capable. I can do this. I can make money doing this. I want impact and income. And again, that's also increasing your energy. So back to this, your thoughts with increased energy, with emotions of confidence and belief, are going to lead to new actions and ultimately better results. So that's where it's pull the weeds and plant new seeds, because your mind is literally a garden. So whatever you're planting, whatever you have on repeat, those thoughts, that's what's going to grow. So this is about becoming aware and then catching and replacing. Write that down. Catch and replace. Okay, now we're getting into the fun stuff. Obviously, to change anything in your life, I believe it's think of a metaphor of building a house. You have to have a strong, solid foundation, and that's where the 80% comes in: the belief, the knowing, a healthy garden, and releasing toxicity. So now, number 3, the good stuff comes. It's what I call future riff as if. So write this down: future riff as if. What that means is I literally go off, and this is fun. You can do it by yourself in a mirror. You can do it. Sometimes I do it when I'm running, because I'm very into physical action. That's what helps me embody thoughts, jump roping, whatever it may be, walking in nature. But to future riff as if, this is when it's all about excited anticipation, and you're literally rewiring your brain. Your brain does not know the difference between an imagined event or something that actually happened. Maybe you've heard of this before, but Olympic athletes, for example, mentally rehearse running the race. Athletes mentally rehearse catching the ball in the end zone. Mental rehearsal is so powerful. I hope you're dropping some love bombs. So on that note, to future riff as if, I want you to stand, and there's no wrong way to do this, but go for at least 90 seconds because it's going to be uncomfortable at first. And then it becomes really fun and exciting. It's like, oh, and then I can have this, and then I can do this. But again, you can do this mirror work or with a partner. But to future riff as if, I want you right now, since you're here and watching, think about a date in the future. It can be the end of the month, it could be by the end of the year, 6 months, whatever it may be for you. But I want you to future riff. So go to a date in the future right now. Pick a date in your head. 30 days, 6 weeks, a month, whatever it may be. And what I want you to do is like transport yourself to that time in the future and start talking about all these things you did. I grew my, and you have to talk in present tense as though it's already happened. I'm so happy and grateful now that I've grown my client list 1,000 people. I've sold however many products, or I had my first 5-figure month. I got my first paid speaking gig, whatever it is. I just want you to riff and go on a total tangent of the what. So list out a bunch of things that happened. And most importantly, you've got to back it with emotions. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm excited. I'm feeling elated. I'm happy. I'm joyful. I'm passionate. I feel on purpose. I feel abundant. And that's what you do. What happens is when you step into this future you up level your thoughts because you're already saying that thing, you're declaring they already happened. You're high vibing your energy and emotions, and you're feeling it in your body. When you mentally rehearse this, what I call it is you think as if, speak as if, and then you act as if whatever you want has already happened. And this is what you have to do in our space as an entrepreneur wanting to make big impact and have income is you've got to already see yourself as having it. You've got to already see yourself on the stage. You've got to see yourself having the client calls or recording the video courses or whatever your offer is. You've got to already see it. See the money in the bank, see the followers, see whatever it is you want. You've got to already see it. Does that make sense? Okay, good. All right, step number 4. This is in addition to the future riff as if, and I simply call it a morning manifesto. So as I talked about previously, having a morning routine is, if you think 30 minutes first thing in the morning for self-care and uplifting yourself is too much to start, fine, do 5. Here's a 5-minute way to at least get started. So what I call a morning manifesto, this is something I've done sort of like the future riff as if, but I go into great detail and I write out, and you can do this in multiple areas of life. The 4 main buckets are finances, relationships, work, and health and fitness. So what I have done, and I listen to this, and it's amazing the things that I've manifested by doing this process. So it works. And my clients do it too. We have so much fun. So with the morning manifesto, you can go into a Google Doc or notes or whatever, but literally type out in great detail, maybe your average perfect day. So, I get up every morning feeling energized and refreshed. I start my day going to the gym or morning meditation. I go down to my kitchen, and especially I'm currently living in a townhome and I'm ready to move into a great big house with a yard for my pup. And I want a huge white kitchen and a center island. But do you see, like, I've already envisioned this. I talk about in my manifesto cooking for friends and family and hosting them and waking up each morning and having my tea and enjoying the view. I've made it so real and so descriptive. I already feel like I'm living that. And so I go into more detail. I work from my home office with French doors where I create content with my team, and I'm recording podcasts and writing my next book. And then I talk about, evenings with my significant other and that we cook and we laugh. And anyway, go off in all areas of your life. If it's money, talk about, I'm so happy and grateful now that I I had my first 5-figure month, and now I had a 5-figure week, or whatever lights you up. But you've got to go into great detail. Tell me what it is, what it looks like, how does it make you feel? And then what I've done, once I've written this out in great detail, I record it in my own voice, and mine are normally 3 to 4 minutes long. And I listen to it every morning, laying in bed, first thing. So I lay in bed and I'm so, I woke up to yet another day. And then I'm listening and feeling and imagining and visualizing all of these desires I want as though I'm already living them. And, this is something new at first, but I'm telling you, this stuff comes to fruition. And then I have so much fun with it. It was like, dang, I want to go bigger and better. And I tend to rewrite these manifestos every couple months. So that's something to take into consideration. Finally, step number 5, one of the most important. It's all about consistency and habits. So just like I asked about in the beginning, who has a morning routine? Some of you said yes, and somebody answered ish. I get it. But if you're inconsistent, if you're taking inconsistent action, you're going to continue getting inconsistent results, right? The easiest way to think of this is health and fitness. If you want to lose weight or you want to get tone and grow muscles, you can't go to the gym once a week, do bicep curls and think you're going to look good, or do squats and have that ass that looks phenomenal in your skinny jeans. You got to be consistent and make these non-negotiables. So what I want to ask you right now, something you're going to commit to, because declaring it and committing to it, what is one action step you're going to take today? What is one new habit out of everything I've taught you that you are going to implement today? Are you going to write out your morning manifesto? Are you going to get in front of a mirror and just have fun and future riff? Are you going to commit to your morning routine starting tomorrow? What are you going to do so you can up level your thoughts, have those high vibe energy and emotion? So you're taking consistent action to get the results you actually want.
We're seeing some future rifts and some pulling weeds. And then somebody put on their vision casting as well, which I'll get to in a minute with the questions.
That's awesome. Pulling weeds. This is definitely one of the harder ones because you have to become, number one, aware of the thoughts you're having and then observe them, because this is about non-attachment. What we do that normally sends, have you ever experienced what I call monkey mind? When you have a thought of worry or I can't do this, and then you down spiral and get all this momentum, and then you get stuck like in the bottom of a pit. That's what you don't want. So you have to not attach to the thought. It's more like sitting back and becoming curious. And it's like, that's an interesting thought I just had, So step into this curiosity mindset and then realize that's not you. It's not serving you. Let it go. And remember, catch and replace. So good for you. Excited to hear how that goes. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, so one of the questions that kind of came in is more for me. So we have a system in the Today's Today crew that we call vision casting. Essentially, it's kind of writing out those big audacious goals and then breaking them down into either daily actions or consistent actions and little goals that we can accomplish a little bit quicker to go reach those big goals. Once we've done that, we actually write paragraphs about what our life looks like as soon as that is accomplished. Like if all of those goals became our reality today, what would that look like? And then from those paragraphs, we create statements, which is what we write down on a daily basis and then meditate on. So somebody was asking, is the step number 4 the morning manifesto similar to the vision casting step? And so yes, I forget who asked it, it's ways back up there. Yes, it is like step number 4, except for she's taking it a step further and she's recording it, and she's going a little bit more in depth than probably some of you have gone with your vision casting and with your paragraphs. And then she's recording it and listening to it on a daily basis. So just like writing her statements, but instead of writing her statements, she's listening to herself talk about her morning manifesto, which is really cool.
Can I add two things to
Go
that?
for it. Absolutely.
The reason I go as in depth as I do, number one, I've been studying, I'm currently 35. I have no shame in telling my
Looking
age.
great.
I have been studying this stuff, been so involved in human psychology and observing since I was 15 and reading the books since 15. I've actually had a gratitude practice, which I highly recommend. I didn't say that, but it's something I do every night before I go to bed. I think of 5 things from that day for which I'm grateful, because an attitude of gratitude will totally change your perspective in life. And that's something I learned through Oprah when I was 8. So, anyway, I'm about this stuff. I love it. I live it. I'm passionate about it. But the reason I go so much deeper is because I realized through the years of learning, like you can say the affirmations, right? You can have just the thoughts of, I am capable, I am confident. But if you're just saying it, it doesn't mean anything. It's not going to go deeper in. It's like a tip of the iceberg. You're not going to embody it. And that's why I try to use all of the senses. I write it, I hear it, I listen, I see it. And even with Morning Manifesto, you want to go one more step? It's called a mind movie. So, like a vision board, take all of the visuals of the things you want, make a movie, add music, and watch it. Because remember, the brain doesn't know the difference between experience and reality. So, if it's seeing all these things on repeat, the money, you on stage, the car, the house, the experiences, New York Times bestseller, it's going to start thinking that is your reality, and that's what's going to happen. Number two, most important, because I think people get so hung up on the how. It's like, great, this is so much good information, Heather, but how? How am I going to bridge the gap? How am I going to get from here to where I want to be? Most importantly, these are great tools to get you in alignment, to get your thought and emotions and feeling to embody, this brain heart coherence. But what I like to talk about, and hopefully this community gets it, is there is a higher power out there leading all of this. There is a power and an energy source out there that knows the fastest, quickest, best way to get you from where you want to go, where you are to where you want to go. It knows the best way to bring clients to you or get you the speaking gigs or the money or that bright idea to write that best-selling book. But what happens is most people get in a very narrow, focused way. Okay, I can only gain clients with a lead magnet and a funnel, and then I'm going to have to harass them in email every week. I'm going to have to create a ton of content. I have to post on Instagram 16 times a day. And then ultimately, I'm going to get there. And I want to call bullshit. Get out of your own way and just be, if you know the what and the why and you do these and you visualize it and you feel it, the how shows up literally every time. So that's all I would recommend is get out of your own way and just don't limit yourself.
Yeah. So another question that we had was, so when you do the morning manifesto, is recording your voice and listening to it, would reading it every morning when you wake up to do the same thing?
See, to each their own. And
Oh,
so yes, some people, it depends, if you're a kinesthetic learner or not. I am actually not an auditory learner. That's why podcasts at first were very difficult for me. I would have to listen to them and I'd sit and take notes. But now I've trained myself to be able to listen and hear and understand the information just by listening. So yeah, if you want to read it, if you want to see the words, do that. I have done that. Reading it is great, but now I'm to the point I just like to lay there and listen to it so I can visualize it.
cool. Cool. I say those are the questions that have come in so far. And the reason for that question, they were like, I don't like my voice. But hey, that may be a pulling
Oh
weed.
my God. Oh, 100%. Because think about it, if you don't like your voice, why would you want to get on stage and in front of people and that's a whole nother rabbit hole. I
Yep.
remember when I started podcasting and I heard myself and I was like, oh, and then get get over yourself, right? You have a voice. Be
Mm,
so grateful you have a voice. Okay, so since we're wrapping up, the last thing I want to share with you, it's a free training. I share my 7-step process to manifest anything you want. It's just at heatherhakes.com. It's right there at the top front page to opt in, free training.
cool. And that link is in the description, y'all. So just in case you don't write that down in your notes, which you should be taking. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Heather, thank you so much for coming on and doing this training. You know, we get a lot of people come into this group and they do their trainings. And we try and take like little bits and pieces from every single one, but over the last couple of weeks we've actually had quite a few mindset coaches coming in, and everything that they've talked about, they've kind of been talking about that, like these little pieces, and you just summed it all up. You just brought it all together for everybody that was in this group, and I think you did it so exquisitely, and I think they got a lot of value out of it. I know that obviously I'm a note taker as well. I want to be the first student in this group. And so I've got a long list of notes, which I'm absolutely loving and can't wait to hear the questions and the conversation that gets created from this training throughout the next week. So we really, really appreciate you. For those that are listening to this or watching the replay, make sure to go find her on social media. Make sure to go grab that free training that she just offered out to y'all. Y'all, that is huge. For a coach to offer out a free training or their free 7 steps is absolutely massive. I know, Heather, you probably put hundreds of hours into that to really make sure that it's perfect. And so, y'all, we really, really appreciate that. And we appreciate you, Heather.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to end on a high note because this is what
Yeah.
I want everyone to know. It's not enough just to know this. It's not
Mhm.
enough to understand it. You need to implement and do it, take the action, and ultimately become that next version of you.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, y'all. Y'all have a phenomenal, phenomenal day, and we'll talk to y'all soon.